Okay. Alors, bonsoir tout le monde.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this regular meeting of the uh, City Council on July 13. To start, let's proceed with our opening words. Dear colleagues, let's have the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Once again, good evening. Welcome, one and all. Let's call the meeting to order. Confirmation of quorum. I see that we have a quorum. We have conflict of interest. Is there any conflict of interest to be declared? Anyone wants to declare? No? Okay, let's proceed. Adoption of the agenda. Is there a motion moved by Councillor Cormier, seconded by Councillor Arsenault, that we adopt the agenda as presented? Any questions? No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried as presented. Item number 7, presentation, inquiries, and petition. Let's start with 7.1, inquiries by council members for the Kodiak Regional RCMP. Inspector Benoit is with us, is on the phone through Zoom, I believe. Do you have any questions for Mr. Benoit or any comments? Monsieur Alain? Thank you, Your Worship. For the RCMP, I got a call this week. I agree with the individual. He walks on in the city, and I see a lot of speeding on those streets. At night, the individual says some young people play with their little cars and they speed all they can, full speed. If there is something, could you have a look at the speed on Bourke Street, please? Thank you, Michelle. Excuse me, absolutely. And we have an instrument that can measure the speed as we did on Chartersville Road. I'll make note of what you just said. Thank you, Mr. Cormier. Thank you, Your Worship. I invite the RCMP to come on Chartersville Road.
On est témoin d'autos qui font de la vitesse.
We witness cars that speed and a lot of noise. Thank you. That's all I have to say. I think the same thing will be repeated probably in every corner of the city. It seems that with the pandemic, it seems to be a popular activity. And at Paul Street, there were efforts made by the RCMP because it was quiet for a while. And now the people gather once again in the parking lot. And used to be jumping business in the side zone parking. I don't know if there's more to add. Thank you, Your Worship. Similarly, the complaint that I have. A lady approached me and she said, isn't there neighbors in the back? She said, up to 11 o'clock at night, it's unreal. The noise, they make their tires scream or screech. At 11, everything stops. but it goes to 11. The parking lot. Thank you.
Alors, M. Jolet, est-ce que vous avez d'autres choses à ajouter?
Mr. Jordan, you have more to add? Your Worship, I misunderstood the area. Where was it, Mr. Brideau? It's in the parking lot of our aquatic center. Fine, it'll be noted. I will send a message tomorrow morning. As for the Burke Street, I'll make sure that the speeding system be installed to check it out. Thank you very much. Is there anything else to add? If not, as always, you're welcome to stay online, stay with us, and we'll understand if you have to leave. With every problem we've given you, you have a lot to do. Thank you for inviting me as usual. I'll start to work harder. Thank you. See you next time. Now we will proceed with item 7.2 presentation, Transaqua project update of that beautiful project by Transaqua. We have with us tonight to make a presentation, Mr. Kevin Rice, the Executive Director. Kevin?
Oh, just a second. There you go.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to present a project update to council. But also, I think during the budget presentation last year, council had kind of asked me some questions about how Transaqua was communicating to the public about some of our new initiatives with the new biological process. So I appreciate the opportunity to update council on some of those initiatives this evening. I'll go through it quite quickly there and leave some room for questions. But our big dome that you see over on the other side of the river there is coming down starting today. So once that comes down, you'll see our nice new blower building that will emerge. We're working very hard to have our project, half of the bioreactor commissioned at the end of September. That'll give us 3 months to meet our federal effluent regulations by the end of 2020, with the rest of the bioreactor being built completely by the end of this year. So our blower building is kind of the heart of the biological process, where it's used to pump oxygen into a big concrete tank that will feed oxygen to the bacteria that will be doing a lot of the eating of the waste, and also reducing or actually increasing the level of oxygen in the effluent that goes out into the Petitcodiac River. So as you can see here, we've got our 2 backup generators in position, and we've got 5 blowers in position as well, and the mechanical and electrical work has begun in connecting those. The bioreactor, as I mentioned, as of today, we are nearly 50% complete. The center channel took us all winter to get that work done, a lot of fine form work. So that's all in place. Getting ready to put the handrails and the catwalks on as we speak. So that work is progressing along quite nicely. Sludge piping. So if you've taken a tour of our facility down under the tunnels, this sludge piping will look quite new to you. These are the huge pipes that are required to move sludge from the primary clarifiers over to the bioreactor and then back to the sludge handling facilities. So they're quite large pipes, and they go quite a long ways through our tunnel system. And this just kind of shows all of the sludge pumping systems that are put in place: our primary sludge pumps, our secondary sludge pumps, and our sludge tank pumps that will move our sludge up to our rotating thickeners, drum thickeners. Our dewatering building, the outside is pretty much complete. Windows, doors, the roof will be starting next week. So 35-year-old buildings are due for a facelift. So we added a much more durable brickwork this time around that'll last much longer than the previous brickwork. So we're looking forward to having windows that don't leak anymore, so we can reduce our heating costs. The sludge handling, as I mentioned, those are our rotary drum thickeners. Those are new to our process, so that will help thicken the sludge before it goes to the centrifuges. They're in place with the piping done, and as you can see, some of the electrical work and the wiring is all underway. So a detailed design for phase 4B is going to be our sludge loadout facility. So right now we have a shipping shed that's kind of has one half that's open to the environment. This will be a closed-in building where we'll have 2 trailers that will load the sludge, as opposed to our current situation. 4C will be a biofilter. So all of the odors that are generated from our biosolids will be run through a biofilter, which is totally environmentally friendly. And phase 5, our ultraviolet disinfection system, we started work on the splitter box 2 weeks ago. We've got most of the excavation done. So that's the first part of phase 5 that has begun. We're expecting phase 5 to come online next spring, probably in May or June is our expectation. So we're going to continue to build this UV building throughout the rest of this year and into next year. So again, one of our goals is to make sure, I would expect by realistically next July, we'll have a nice open house, maybe next August for the community. We'll be completely finished. So next spring, we'll focus on site works, our asphalt, our curbing, and our landscaping. So we want to make sure that the facility's in good order when we open up to the public. Communications initiatives, we've really worked hard. Earlier this year, we unveiled 3 new brochures because we talked about what our communications initiatives are. So we have a compost information booklet, radio advertising, a public information booth, and we've also got a contest that's going on where the ratepayer answers 3 skill testing questions on 3 of our highest priority topics, which is grease, carburetors, and flushable wipes. So they have a chance to win their 2020 water and sewer bill up to $1,000. So we thought that would be a good initiative this year to catch the public's attention. And we've had some decent participation so far. So grease is, again, one of our big opportunities that we want to keep the grease out of the system. So for us, grease in our system is not a good thing. It fosters the bad bacteria. The bad bacteria really like the grease. So once they start eating, they start multiplying faster than the good bacteria. So we want to make sure we eliminate as much grease as possible to allow the good bacteria to thrive. And we have to constantly watch that balance in the bioreactor to make sure the bad bacteria aren't outpacing the good bacteria. So the bioreactor also is going to effectively remove nitrogen and phosphate. So that's our goal with the bioreactor. And this just kind of gives an idea to council what that brochure looks like. And of course, it's on our website. We're actually working with the technical committee to ask each community to kind of forward their target, their hotspots in each community. So it gives us an idea, restaurant grease, something like that. We can actually go out and provide this information to restaurants in the area where there's hotspots, kind of do a bit of an education piece to help get the local businesses on board to make sure that their grease interceptors are being cleaned out properly when they should be, to reduce the amount of grease coming into the system. Household wipes, with the pandemic, it's been a challenge. We're noticing a lot more so-called flushable wipes, Lysol wipes that are all ending up at our treatment plant on our fine screens. So I just kind of looked at them today and said, whoa, wow, what a difference. A lot of flushable wipes. So we really want to focus on flushable wipes, helping to educate the public that they don't belong in the sewer system. They belong in the garbage can. So we've been working to develop a new brochure that kind of talks about what you need to do with them, why they don't belong in the sewers. And this is an ongoing education piece that's happening all across North America, all across the world. So it's just not isolated to us. So we'll continue that work. And carburetors, so as I mentioned before, carburetors, when you put food down the sewer system, it degrades. And as it degrades, it decomposes, it sucks oxygen out of the water. So when that wastewater stream comes to our treatment plant, the bioreactor needs oxygen to feed the bacteria. So if you're sucking oxygen out of the water before it gets to us, we're going to have to ramp up an extra blower or two to make sure the oxygen levels in the bioreactor are working properly. And to do that, that takes a lot of electricity. So we're trying to encourage people not to put their organics, put their food, use the carburetors. We don't want that in our sewer system either. So that's a big focus for us to help educate the public. Kind of gives an idea of the brochure that we had developed to try to help the public understand. And that contest that we're running has 3 questions, one on each topic. So people really kind of have to read the information to get the right answer. So that's kind of how we're trying to promote educating the public with a little carrot. Our compost biosolids, so we looked at our history of biosolids here in this area, and it's still very popular. It's even more popular this year. We wanted to make sure we had a story to the public, a story about when it started and where we're going with it. So it talks about the origins of compost, beneficial reuse, what are the benefits to the public, and of course, that we offer it free to the public. So we wanted to create that story that's very simple to read and understand, and people can kind of grasp the concept of, okay, I know what that is, and I think it's a great product. And they support us quite well. We want to keep that going. Radio advertising, we advertise weekly with Country 96.9. They want a competitive bid process for our advertising. So we have kind of a Transaqua tip of the week, if you will. We have a different message every week for the listeners that kind of help them understand a lot of the sewer do's and don'ts. And we talk about key points throughout the year of celebrating Compost Week, those types of things. So we have targeted messages to those audiences, which is our target audience as well. So we've done our research, and this is our second year of doing that, and it's proven to be very effective. One of the things we're actually doing is we're doing some targeted digital advertising. So about a month and a half ago, we did a month of targeted compost digital advertising. And now we're doing a digital advertising campaign for the win your water to sewer bill up to $1,000. So we've noticed the public is kind of clicking onto that. They're interested. We had great uptake on the compost. So we said, well, let's go for the win your water and sewer bill for 2020. So that's underway right now for another 3 weeks. We have a new public information booth that we debuted at the Moncton Wildcats game on February 19th. Very well received. We brought a lot of takeaways, a lot of information, and actually we probably bought 4 or 5 boxes of brochures and information, and we left with less than one. So for one event, it shows that we had really good uptake, good exposure, and we're looking at possibly entering into an advertising partnership with the Moncton Wildcats for the next 2 seasons. So that's something that we're thinking about to kind of bring up our game a little bit and being more visible to the public and building the Transaqua brand. And the contest, again, as I had mentioned, so, we're encouraging people to go in and answer and try to win the bill. We'll draw that the 3rd week in December, right before Christmas. So it'll make a nice Christmas present for somebody that's taken the time to educate and answer the 3 questions. So with that, I would certainly open it up to any questions that you may have.
Merci. Thank you very much for your presentation, Kevin. Questions on part of members of council? Questions de la part des membres du conseil?
Question from the councillors.
It's clear as your waist, I guess.
Perfect.
No questions. So again, thank you for your presentation, and thank you very much for keeping us up to date on all the initiatives and whatnot. And we're all looking forward to a cleaner Petitcodiac River.
Great. Thank you
Thank
for
you
having
much.
me.
Bye-bye. Alors, maintenant, prochaine présentation.
Next presentation, an update on the Uniplex construction. Monsieur Jason Nadeau, good evening, Your Worship, members of council, thank you. I'm happy to be here tonight for an update. To begin, I'd like to tell you that in spite of the pandemic that's hit us head first, I'm very proud to say that we are still according to the deadline that we had fixed at the beginning of the project. I want to congratulate the people who were involved. It was not easy for a few weeks or a few months. A lot of things have changed, but people answered very well, and we are still within our deadline. Since the last time I spoke to you, a lot of things happened. Last time was in March. So, of course, we are well ahead. Painting wise, we're 90% finished, and the roof or the ceilings and the walls are done. The asphalt has been done for the parking lot as a whole. There's still the lines, and the drywall is completely completed. The installation of audio-visual system, we talk about speakers, television, have started. We started with that. It's going well. Installation of doors and windows inside are going very well. It's almost completed. I would say 75 to 80% today. What we're looking at, the mechanic link is complete. We talk about ventilation, plumbing. Well, the electricity is forthcoming also, but the players' room is completed. There's only the floor. We'll finish that. Wait till the last few weeks. The installation of all the lighting started last week, so that also things are going very well. But something I can tell you is the seats. The situation of the seat, it looked like the complex the way we want it to be. And last week, I should say, we finished it last week. I can tell you that we have a very nice quality of seats. What is still to come? Today, we have electricity permanently. We started the testing recently, all the equipment and the systems, the installation of the dashboard on the board. The community side is completed, and on the main side, it started today. That also is very nice. It gives nice photographs. I didn't take any, I only went today with the presentation, but I think it worthwhile. We will pursue the installation audiovisual system. That also is with Ivan, the contractor. He's doing very well. The next steps it is really to clean, a complete cleaning of the complex. On the side, we talk of being dust free in approximately 2 weeks. So there are cleaning teams on location. When a room is completely clean, they clean it completely, and then we lock the door. Nobody will go there. Then we've cleaned. Thank you very much. It's done. That's it. Once again, I mentioned since today we have the electricity. We'll start testing all and test all the mechanical system. Search part. There is a process of 3 to 4 weeks that is required to test everything. As we say, we try to break it to be able to fix it. So the landscaping development has started. We're having topsoil being put on the property of the complex. The windows are pretty well completed. A picture is worth 1,000 words, but sometimes that what it looks like. We can look at the ice per se. The seats have been completed since last week. So on the other side also, the same thing on the main floor. A beautiful ice quality and seats. The people who will, we will have a nice quality of ice, but later on, not right now. Those who were installing the seats was the first time that they installed this model. They were very satisfied because they say sometimes we break certain things, but this time nothing broke. It's a very good quality. Secondary ice, same thing. Everything is completed. The seats are completed also. Another angle here of secondary ice. Here, this is where we enter the east side. from the college street. That's what we see on the walls. You can see 38 inches, approximately 4 feet of tiles on the walls. So it very, very beautiful. Some natural lighting also in the complex. And this is in the hallway on the second floor, the corridor. From one end to the other of the complex, we can see, as we enter, we see from one end to the other. The training room, this is almost completed also. We're pretty well at the lighting stage. This shows you the public space between the two ice. At the end, as you can see, not the canteen, but the bistro that we will have. Another angle about the public place, we can see the tiles that are very interesting at the bottom. As you can see, the windows are not installed, but it's forthcoming. It's very interesting. The multi-purpose rooms or the meeting rooms are almost completed. We can see the tiles, and let's just note in these rooms there will be tiles on the floor to improve the sound. It's another angle that we can see here. The walking trail also. It's a floor that will be installed at the very last minute because it's a it's a specialized wall that we want to preserve. That's the reason why we will push off or only set it up at the very end. In the corridor that leads to the locker room with black ceilings and white walls. This is one of the locker rooms that is completed. Only the floor is yet to be done. Here we talk about the large locker room, and the next photograph is another more normal locker room with bench. People will be very glad of this. This is an entrance of the western side from the music hall. It gives you an idea of the size of the hallway, the stairs that lead to the second floor. I was trying to see, it's not easy.
On essaie de montrer un peu.
With the picture, we tried to show everything, but the western face for 2 weeks, as people have noticed, there is a brown brick. It's really a contrast with the IMP. It's a nice finishing touch. It's very nice. Well, that's it. I don't know if you have questions for me. Thank you, Monsieur Ledoux. Question from the councillors? Mr. Brideau, I believe, followed by Miss Arsenault. Your worship. See, Nadeau. I want to go back to the last photograph, the truck. I'll be the devil's advocate. I walk at night. I walk along the back fence. I don't know if you noticed, there is a place where the pavement makes some kind of curve, and it was full of water. I said, oh, yay, that's going to be full of ice this winter. There's a reason for that answer. The manhole are presently blocked off, obstructed. If there was an accident at the school, all the manhole are completely blocked. That's why the water accumulates. I did not notice. There is definitely a plastic. Okay, fine. Thank you. Thank you. Is there snow? Thank you, worship. again to say we're on time and on budget, no delay. Very well, very well. How many seats do we have? Do you know?
On parle d'un peu plus d'une centaine de sièges, si je ne me trompe pas.
If I'm not mistaken, we have about 100 seats.
Du côté vente de sièges,
But as far as the sale of seats, we have to concentrate on biggest donors or sponsors. I imagine it will go on for a while, but it's going relatively well. Yes, yes. Thank you very much. Just what I wanted to know. Thank you. No other question. Thank you for your presentation, sir. We hasten for early October to be determined. Next presentation concerning the waste collection and disposal, Mr. David Knowles, who will deal with this issue. Good evening, Your Worship, and good evening, Mr. Knowles, members of council. We lost him. I have a short presentation for you tonight to discuss the waste collection and the collection, the waste collection, and is an important activity for Dieppe. It was developed as a green activity and to protect the environment. We asked the staff to do everything they could to reduce the green garbage and to improve the cleanliness of the city. This changes automatically. I don't touch it. You'll have to talk faster. The citizens can put their green and blue bags, closed recipients, the use of recipient for green bags is very popular in Dieppe, and we have some pictures. We receive some complaints about the organic waste. I received 3 complaints in the last 18 months. You see in these pictures, I traveled throughout the city recently to see how many people are using the back containers, and you see the pictures here. Probably approximately 80% of citizens use the bag, not only for the green, but also for the clear bags, and time to time, the blue bags. Last Friday, I went around the city, around wooded area, and probably 90% of the people use it. It's a complex activity, the waste collection. It necessitates a lot of stakeholders, and 360 manages the waste for all of southeastern New Brunswick. At the clerk office, we discuss the bylaws and the citizens and the public work employees. We make an analysis before a bag is authorized. Information are lacking. The collection team doesn't have what is needed, what kind of bag would be needed, who will pay for this bag, how much. what is the price of collection according to the contract, how to manage the calendar of collection to make sure there is a good tradition, a good transfer. Recommendation after internal discussion, we will amend the bylaw to, we won't amend, we recommend to have a sensitize an awareness campaign undertaken to educate the people. The benefit, people by open the bag, birds open them close to the houses. The bags and the garbage fly to the wind, and it hurts the green image of the city. Here is an example of a bag that is recommended by Pharaoh. You asked a question, if we went with a bag and a green bag, what size should we use? This is only an example. It's not the only one, but this is 60 liters. The height, 30 centimeters. This bag costs $29.99 plus tax. For these bags, you can have them not far from here. $70 is for the bigger ones. I jump over a slide. Do you have questions? Questions from the councillors on the waste collection and disposal. Mr. Thibodeau. Thank you, Your Worship. I read with much attention this presentation, and I noticed that I believe that it was misinterpreted what we were asking for, because finally we're looking at the possibility of changing the Eco 360 or the waste collection method. All I wanted is that we put that in a container that the animals cannot open the bags. We don't have to give some standards for back. Well, I'm ready to make a proposal, a motion, Your Worship. My motion would be that the council amend the bylaw on the elimination of waste to include as follow. Green bags, organic, must be put in a container that is away from birds and animals. It seems that that's simply what we were asking for. I don't think that it will change whatever there is with the contract with the waste collector. It's not going. We don't have to. They don't have to change their trucks. I have a back at home, and he opens the cover when he goes by. He throws the garbage and he leaves it there. It's not the end of the world. I so move. Well, yes, presentation wise, it's not the time to make resolution, but we can ask management to, if you would take your motion and give it to the clerk. We can talk about it at another time and bring it back to the council after having studied the situation more closely. Thank you, Mr. Rideau. Your Worship. I agreed with the recommendation that was made by whoever the group was, but, and furthermore, we present here, we suggest to have an awareness campaign to convince the people of using a given bag. I don't think we have to change the act. We see that 80% of the streets people use the bag at the present time. It's for those that are not using it. It's for them that we should, these are the ones we should target to convince them to use a bag. As Councillor Thibodeau says, we don't have to specify specific size. It's a bag that with a cover where the animals cannot go in and destroy the bag. Mr. Cadet, take your worship. I believe if we are there to force the company that is giving us pamphlet to put it on the side of the house, I don't see for our citizens we can ask them to install some bag, small bag for the garbage. And I agree with the position of the councillor. I agree that we educate the public, but these motion that you asked for or that you put forward that it be implemented in next year, we should give it a year for the people to adapt and to get used to it or to make the change. I am squarely for the idea. It takes only 10%, 5%, or 2% of the people of Dieppe to make some damage in our streets. If we have 80% of the people that respect what we suggest, there's still 20% left. I recommend that we should ask and that we should adapt, put in the bylaw that people should use a bag. It doesn't have to be a big bag, but just a regular bag. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Thibodeau, I want to add that it's true that 80% use it, but for the 20% that don't use it, they damage a lot. You say there was only 3 complaints in the last 18 months. I could make a complaint every week with my my neighbor from across. I made 3, and what we answered is that the bylaw does not allow us to force the people to use a bag and stop complaining. It's a waste of time. That's why I want to put the motion forward. Mr. Melanson? Yes, Your Worship. I think we received the message. It was to present you tonight what elements were found, but the registered complaints, that's what we hear. But maybe you hear some from individuals in your ward or among your friends. We'll work on a project and we'll bring it to you. And we'll bring you a draft, if not the next meeting, in the very near future. No one else? Thank you for the presentation, and thanks to all the councillors for that discussion. We will wait to see the results that will be brought forward. So that concludes the series of presentation under item number 7. Let's go to the question by members of the public. Did we receive, Mr. Simard, any questions from the public? No question this week? Okay. Once again, just to remind the people that you can file complaints or make comments or ask questions if you so wish to the municipal council during this period. And we're on we have a contact point on the website where we can discuss these issues under this item, under presentation. inquiries and petition. Fine. So let's go on with the adoption of the minutes, starting with the regular council meeting on June the 8th. Moved by Mr. Cadet, seconded by Mr. Leblanc on the question. No question. All those in favor to adopt the minutes of the June 8th meeting, say aye. Contrary minded, nay. So the minutes of June the 8th is adopted. Now, a motion to adopt the special council meeting minutes held on June the 24th. Moved by Councillor Brideau, seconded by Councillor Leblanc. On the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried as presented. This brings us to motion, memorandum, and nominations. Administration under 10.1. Requests of exemption bylaw prohibiting excessive noise. Mr. Melanson, we received a request for 352 Gaspé Street to have an exception with excessive noise. Wedding that will be held at that address. It's recommended by management to allow them to go until midnight, August the 1st, to accommodate and receive a group of approximately 50 persons. That's our recommendation tonight. To read the resolution, Ms. Arsenault, please. Thank you, Your Worship. That pursuant to Section 4 of Bylaw S-9 2018 prohibiting excessive noises, Council authorized an exception to offset bylaw in order to allow a wedding reception on the property located at 352 Gaspé Street on Saturday, August the 1st, 2020, until midnight. I so move, Your Worship. Moved by Ms. Arsenault, seconded by Councilor Brideau on the question. No question? All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried as presented. And that brings us to 10.1.2. Monsieur Melanson, you have in front of you the 2019 annual report of City of Dieppe. This is conformed to the local government, everything that has to be presented pursuant to this act. It shows all the success, the liabilities, and it deals also with our strategic plan that deals with the 6 issues that were adopted by council a few months ago with our strategic plan. Some elements for which we must be proud of within our municipality for 2019. The Uniplex was undertaken. We have good success with our zone connection. We can't set aside the success of August the 15th and 2019. It's a thing of the past, but we still have good souvenir and a lot of projects that we undertook, the construction, new businesses that have arrived here, and immigration aspect. Everything are integrated in the annual report of the municipality. It will be put on our website. People can consult it. And if there's any question, we'll be happy to answer them. And you also have in the report all the realization that are the, we talk about 30, 35 successes. Congratulations and thank to the whole team of the staff and the members of the council to allow us to spread the successes of our municipality who offer service in both official languages. Thank you for the reading of the resolution. Mr. Cormier. Thank you, Your Worship, that council accept the 2019 annual report of the City of Dieppe. I so move. Moved by Councillor Cormier, seconded by Councillor Thibodeau. On the question. Mr. Cadet. Thanks, Your Worship. My question is mainly for the report and its distribution. Did we think of doing like Dieppe Mag and send it to all the citizens of Dieppe? It would be a document that would be valuable. It gives information on what happened last year, on the accomplishment, and so on and so forth. And if we can't have it as a separate document, could it be attached to the mag and make it bigger, larger to accommodate this one? It's not everyone that will search on the internet to read the annual report, but if they have it in their hand, it seems it's a very important document. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Cadet. Reaction, good question. But if you remember, one of our issues to be a green city, we try to manage in eco-responsible manner to publish 10,000 report. It's a large quantity, but if some people would like to have a paper examples, we could make it available. Some would be available, but we encourage to go on the website. It's always there. We're one of the city that is the most connected. All the people are connected, but we try to respect a strategic plan to be responsible environmentally. But we ask ourselves the same question on a lot of things. I would suggest, I know that the site or Facebook of the municipality is a very active page where a lot of people go to, and we talk about 7,000, 8,000. We see up to 12,000 people that consult it. Maybe it's another page where we could use it, because the problem, as Councillor Gadet mentioned, the problem to search for the document is to search through everything that exists in the municipality on Facebook. It's right there and it takes you directly there. Oh, sorry, I didn't want to dominate the conversation, Mr. Thibodeau. Thank you, Your Worship. But it's to continue on the idea. In the mag, maybe we don't have to put anything. We could probably insert a summary, or simply to invite the people to go and visit to tell them if they want to have a paper or a copy, where to go. The mag is another thing we're thinking about with the pandemic. We did not produce any the mag for July. We are discovering how to do things differently. We're not saying it's not going to be done anymore, but we're looking at it. Thank you, Michelle. Just want to repeat what the mayor said. Let's go on Facebook. There's information on Facebook that was on Dieppe Mag. A lot of information was in the report. We take it from Dieppe Mag, we put it there. So there's a lot of components that could be included. At the end of the day, Dieppe Mag future, well, a lot of information that are contained. I would even suggest some video clip on Twitter and Facebook. We didn't do any recently, but thank you. Anyone else? It's not the suggestion that are lacking, but it shows, it does show that the council is connected with the citizens. When we see all those information, as Mr. Godet said, there are so many good information that describe the work that are being done by the staff, the municipal council, and all the different associations that we have around our beautiful municipality. We expect to see things move. We have to approve it. we'll proceed to the vote. We had the question period. Let's not forget the vote. All those in favor to accept the report as is submitted, say aye. Reminded nay. The report is adopted as presented. That takes us to 10.2. Sorry. Culture, leisure, and community life. Citing authority management contract, Dieppe Youth House. Sorry. Municipality owns the youth house. We have the responsibility of maintaining it and maintaining the infrastructure. In appendix, what is accepted by the administration and the board of directors of the house that sees the responsibility of everyone, and you have been able to become aware of it. We recommend the signature of that agreement. That is a 5-year agreement, and if it's approved, we'll proceed with the official signatures afterwards. For the reading of the resolution, Mr. Thibodeau. Thank you, Your Worship. That council authorized the municipal signing officers to sign the management contract between the city of Dieppe and the Maison de Jeunes de Dieppe Incorporated for a 5-year period starting April the 1st, 2020 to March the 31st, 2025. I so move. Moved by Councillor Thibodeau. Seconded by Councillor Ella on the question. The question, all those in favor say aye. Contrary minded nay. Carried. Now 10.3 finance renewals of the group insurance plan. Also through our supplier, we went to renew our insurance, the insurance life accidental. For the municipality, it is recommended to retain the service of Assumption Life for an amount of $1,317 for the year that will complete on July 2021 for 1 year, and accidental life with the RBC insurance for a monthly of $0.028. So if we look compared to last year, we have a slight savings. Certain things that were reduced, an element that increased, but basically we have a saving of approximately 2.44%. So we are within the budget that was presented, and we recommend that you proceed with this recommendation. For the reading of the resolution, Mr. Ella. Thank you, Your Worship. That council authorized the renewal of the group insurance plan and the pool costing with Assumption Life as per the term outlined in the letter and table submitted by Service Financier Gauguin Champlain Financial Services Incorporated in June 2020 for the period starting August the 1st, 2020 to July 31st, 2021. An estimated cost of $1,317,888. Then the council authorized the renewal of the accidental life insurance plan with RBC Insurance at the monthly rate of 0.028 cents per $1,000. I so move, Your Worship. Moved by Councillor Ella, seconded by Councillor Benito on the question. The question, all those in favor say aye. Contrary minded nay. Carried as presented. And Monsieur Drolet, have a good evening. Without any further delay, gas tax fund. You have in front of you a program that we have to submit to the province to receive those funds. In 2020, we received $1.7 million, and we have to have project that meets the admissibility. So this also coincides with our program, our infrastructure project. this recommendation come to align with what adopted for the next 2 or 3 years in the budget, the Melanson Road, the construction of Arsenal Road, as well as phase 1, 2 of the reconstruction of Burke Street are the projects aim with this project. It's our recommendation to adopt the plan that is the amended 5-year projects on the gas tax. To read the resolution, Monsieur Leblanc. Thank you, Your Worship, that Council accept the modified version of the 2019-2023 5-year capital investment plan dated July the 13th, 2020 for the gas tax fund administrative agreement. I so move. Moved by Councillor Leblanc, seconded by Councillor Cormier. On the question. On the question, Michelle, Your Worship, just a clarification. Burke Road, there'll be 2 phases. Phase 1, phase 2 is for 2020, 2022. My citizen asked me this week, they will redo the whole street. Will there be a sidewalk or a trail? Your Worship, there will be trail on one side. There will be a curve and a trail on one side to maximize the use instead of only one sidewalk, but a trail on one side of the street. Thank you. If there's no other question, all those in favor say aye. Contrary minded nay. Carried as presented. This brings us to 10.4 engineering, 10.4.1 tender award. Monsieur Melanson. 2020 microsurfacing is know that this process to assure the extension of the length of the road, it will expand the length to 7 years, and we are recommended to go microsurfacing 87,111 plus HST and the service of ASP be retained for the engineering the amount of $78,000. So we received 2 tenders. They were the ones that were retained. The cost compared to previous year, and maybe the only thing that is added is we have to do more repair. That is about $300,000. When we look at $300,000 versus redoing all the streets that are focused as part of Chartersville between Thomas and Pascal, Central from Chartersville to Melanson, Melanson from Amira Street to Burke, and also a small part of Industrial Street. $300,000 compared to millions to redo the surface altogether is a saving. It's our recommendation. The funds are identified and to proceed with the contract following the approval from the council. To read the resolution, says no. Thank you, Your Worship. That council award a contract, the project entitled Various Dieppe Street Microsurfacing 2020 to Industrial Code Milling at a cost of $987,111 plus just the authorized EXP servicing to undertake engineering services relating to said project that cost $78,000 plus HST, and further authorize that these expenditures be taken from account number 1-2-35-58-2615 general operating budget asphalt management. I move on, Mr. Snow, seconded by Councilor Thibodeau. On the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded nay. Carried as presented. Land purchase on Arsenal Road. Monsieur Nassau, as you know, we authorized a contract to rebuild Arsenal Street. We had to buy a small parcel of land to do a curve. It's approved the recommendation of the agreement with to $100,000, 337 Chemin Senneau for the reading. Monsieur Alain, please. Your worship, that council authorize the purchase of a portion of land identified under PID 00812-172 and located at 337 Arsenal Road, and the cost of $2,800 plus HST and legal fees for the Arsenal reconstruction project, and further authorize expenditure be defrayed from account number 3-3-35-58-7655 general capital budget, Arsenal Road. That's all move. Moved by Councillor Ayala, seconded by Councillor Thibodeau. On the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried. And now we are at appointments, starting with 10.5.1 for a bylaw enforcement officer. Here you have the fire department staff that will have the authority to work to respect the bylaw. We recommend Christian Senneau to be appointed to act for outside fires as part of their service. Within the fire department, the new nominations were positions that have been filled. As far as enforcement, you can read them with Ms. Annick Terrio and Monsieur Gabriel Goga. They will begin very shortly to work with the city of Dieppe. That's the next three files. Let's proceed with the first one for a motion. Monsieur Brideau, please. Your worship, pursuant to the Local Government Act and Police Act, the Dieppe City Council appoints Christian Arsenault as a bylaw enforcement officer and be authorized, designated, and appointed to act and on behalf of a council's behalf in order to properly enforce the municipal bylaw, and that the said appointment continues as long as the other person is employed in the municipality, or that the appointment is limited or rescinded by council. Move by Councillor Brito, second by Councillor Leblanc. On the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Resolution is carried. And we'll proceed with 10.5.2, a new officer. Monsieur Leblanc to read it. Your worship, that pursuant to the Community Planning Act and the Local Government Act and the Police Act, the Municipal Council of Dieppe appoint Annick Terrio as a bylaw enforcement officer and be authorized, designated, and appointed to act on behalf of the council to properly enforce the municipal bylaws, and that she said the said appointment continues as long as the said person remains employed for the municipality, or that the appointment is limited or rescinded by council. I so move, your worship. Moved by Councillor Leblanc, seconded by Councillor Cormier. On the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried as presented. And we'll proceed with the third appointment for with the reading, Mr. Thibodeau. Your worship, pursuant to the Community Planning Act and Local Governments Act and the Police Act, the Dieppe Council appoint Derrick Gogaz as bylaw enforcement officer, and that he be authorized, designated, and appointed to act and on council's behalf in order to properly embrace the municipal bylaws, and that it lasts as long as said person remains employed of the municipality, or that this be limited or rescinded by the council. I so move, your worship. Moved by Councillor Thibodeau, seconded by Councillor Gadet. On the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, carried as presented. Next, 10.5.4, Dieppe Arts and Culture Center. To read. Here, a position became vacant at the Dieppe Arts Center to represent the municipality. As the policy says, we have to respect the diversity. So following a nomination received, Monsef Akwef is the one that is recommended for your consideration and authorization. To read the resolution, Monsieur Leblanc. Your worship, the council appoint Monsef Lesaf on the board of directors of the Arts and Culture Center for a mandate ending July the 13th, 2023. Move and seconded. On the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried. 10.6 organizational performance. Mr. Blanc, you have in front of you a recommendation for an application for funding for the New-Brunswick Refugee Clinic. This is an agreement that we share with the three municipalities, Moncton, Dieppe, and Review. And it's an accompaniment for the refugees that are in the area would need legal or different services dealing with their status, and it allows us to offer this. It's our recommendation to pursue following recommendation discussion with the people responsible for it is very much appreciated and used. For the reading, Ms. Hersnow. Thank you, Your Worship. That council grant a financial contribution in the amount of $2,500 to the New Brunswick Refugee Clinic and authorize this expenditure be defrayed from account number 1-2-20-14-2150, general operating budget, organizational performance. I so move. Moved by Councillor Arsenault, seconded by Councillor Brideau. On the question. On the question, Michela. Yep, 5,000. Moncton is 10 and us 2,500 because our budget has 2,500. That's what we've been giving for the last so many years. Other question? If not, all those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried as presented. 10.7.1 recommendation from the PAC planning and amending tentative plan. Abel Richard recommendation is to accept the amended plan and that we accept the $7,484 for public utility road. That is 8% of the value of the land. For the reading, the resolution. Mr. Cormier, thank you, Your Worship, that council accept the Planning Advisory Committee recommendation relating to the acceptance of the Abel Richard subdivision, amending tentative plan dated June the 5th, 2020, and further accept that the promoter pay the amount of $7,488 in lieu of land for public purposes, which represent 8% of the value of the said subdivision. I so moved by Councillor Cormier, seconded by Councillor Ala. On the question. The question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried as presented. Now 10.7.2. Mr. Minaso, once again, the PAC recommendation. The recommendation is that we accept from the promoter $510 in lieu of land for public. It's 8% of the market value. It's a land. There was a refusal. We uh, made it viable automatically. It becomes an effect of a public utility property. It's to accept for the reading of the resolution, Monsieur Alain. Thank you, Worship. That council accept the Planning Advisory Commission recommendation relating to the acceptance of the Fox Creek Gulf Community Subdivision amending tentative plan dated May the 26th, 2020, and further accept that the developer pay the amount of $1,510 in lieu of land for public purposes, which equivalates 8% of the market value of subdivision. I so move. Moved by Councillor Alain, seconded by Councillor Arsenault. On the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried as presented. The next one, 7.3, another PAC recommendation. This is to have a plan, Her Majesty the Queen in right of the province of New-Brunswick subdivision. It's the building of College Street. We have two bus stops on one on each side for the Uniplex and the college. At the New Brunswick Community College is a recommendation to proceed with these parcel of land. So, to read, Mr. Thibodeau. Thank you, Your Worship, that council accept the Planning Advisory Committee recommendation relating to the acceptance of Her Majesty the Queen in right of province of New Brunswick subdivision, amending tentative and dated June the 3rd, 2020, which provides for the widening of a portion of College Street. I so move. Moved by Councillor Thibodeau, seconded by Councillor Arsenault. On the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried as presented. This brings us to public hearing 7.4. You have in front of you, the council had authorized a rezoning in April last. The developer is contesting Candola Dental Department. Daniel, they noticed there was more room to increase the capacity of the project, and since it's an important change, the rezoning undertaking must be started again to include 7 housing. That's why we have to fix August the 10th here at City Hall to undertake the process and possibly to hear the objections, comments following these amendments, because it has an impact on the territory. We have to ask again the PAC opinion, and they will consider it on September the 14th. Read the resolution, Mr. Cormier. Thank you, Your Worship. That council schedule a public hearing on August the 10th, 2020 at 6 p.m. at Dieppe City Hall to hear objection pertaining to proposed amendments to the condition relating to zoning bylaws 7-10-2017-7, and that council requests the written views of Planning Advisory Committee and the to deadline pursuant to section 110(3) of the Community Planning Act, September the 14th, 2020. Move and seconded. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried as presented. That brings us to another date, another public hearing. Yes, Your Worship, we have another request on a land belonging to the Roman Catholic Church of Moncton for August the 10th at 6 o'clock here by developer Charles Poirier for a property that is in proximity of Central, 3 acres at least, and possibly to be developed. This is for an amendment to the municipal bylaw 7, 9, and Z10. It will be here on August the 10th. It's a public hearing on September the 14th here at 7 o'clock. And to ask the written opinion of the PAC on October 13th. So it's to undertake the process, Your Worship, for the reading of the resolution, Monsieur Leblanc. Your Worship, that the council schedule a public presentation August the 10th, 2020 at 6 p.m. at Dieppe City Hall to hear objections pertaining to the proposed amendment of the generalized land and map, municipal development plan Z-9 2017, and the land identified BIP 007 786-117 and bid 00820 that council schedule a public hearing on September the 14th, 2020 at 7 p.m. at the Dieppe City Hall to hear objection pertaining to the proposed amendment of zoning bylaw Z-10 2017, a portion of land identified under PID 00796-177 and 00820-878, and that council request the written views of the Planning Advisory Committee and extend the deadline pursuant to section 110.3, the Community Planning Act for October the 10th. Move and seconded. On the question. On the question, Monsieur Godet. Your Worship, I have a question and a comment. Question has to do behind the houses on Vanya Street. On the side of that development, there is a cycling trail. I would like to know what is the width that the city controls between the proposed development and the private property that are located on the other side. Oh, I don't think we have. Maybe Andre, do you have an answer? If not, we can come back. Alexandre is here. Alexandre, good evening. Monsieur Girard, thank you, Your Worship. I don't have the answer. There would probably be a good 12 meters, but we can come back with an exact answer of the property that it belongs to the municipality. Maybe we get Mr. Melanson to send it to the councillors within the August the 10th presentation. Maybe it could be part of that presentation. Comment I'd like to make is I received someone from my ward came to the door with a letter he received from the city concerning that development, and unfortunately I was not aware of that development. So it kind of put me ill at ease. I couldn't answer him. I didn't know what he was talking about, but it would seem that it's not something that happens often, but because of the meeting, the PAC issued a letter to the neighborhood without the council knowing about it. Forthwith, I would like to make sure that no letter is distributed before the councillors are informed. Otherwise, it's an embarrassment for us. First of all, the staff sends the letters. There's a process that we go further than the law prescribes. First time that you have been informed after the citizen. Normally, everybody around the table is informed beforehand. Andre, I don't know if you have anything else to add. Yes. I have an explanation to make. The letter that was sent to the neighbors, it would have to do with a variance that is proposed. So it's indirectly related to the zoning bylaw, but it should be simultaneously or parallel with the zoning amendment but the letter doesn't really have to do with what you will see in the resolution today. I'll make note of it. It's just that a councillor should be aware as much as possible to what is happening in his ward, and I would have liked to know about it. Thank you. It's normal to take that into consideration. When we send letters to the citizens, we should make sure that the councillors are made aware of it. It's one of the, it's a first. It's one of the first time, but it's noted, councillor. The neighbor didn't take long to cross the street and come to me. They like to know. Any other question? If not, the vote, all those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried as presented. This brings us to bylaw, municipal bylaws. That's it. So let's proceed now with bylaw number Z10, amending the bylaw to amend the City of Dieppe zoning bylaw. Proceed with the reading in its entirety. So to read it, Mr. Thibodeau. Thank you, Worship. Bylaw number Z-10 bracket 2017-9, the bylaw to amend the City of Dieppe zoning bylaw. The Council of the City of Dieppe, under the authority vested in it by Community Planning Act SNB 2017 C19, enacts as follows. The City of Dieppe zoning bylaw being bylaw number Z-10 2017 enacted on the 11th day of September 2017 and filed in the Westmoreland County Registry Office as 31378783 on November 3rd, 2017 is hereby amended as follows. Part 2 definition subsection 2.1 bracket 1 and amended by repealing the definition of the mini home park and substituting as follows. A mini home park means a single lot where two or more mini homes dwelling gross floor area less than 112 meters. The present definition may include building and part of a building used for a sales center, an office, a model home, and a mini home park, and common amenity area. Moved by Councilor Thibodeau to be adopted in its entirety and seconded. For on the question, all those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. So, bylaw Z10, bylaw number Z10 is accepted in its entirety. We'll proceed with third reading by title only. Mr. Thibodeau, once again. Thank you, Worship. Bylaw number Z10, bracket 2017-9, bylaw to amend the City of Dieppe zoning bylaw. I move in third reading by its title only. Move once again, Councilor Thibodeau. Seconded by Councilor Arsenault on the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. So, said amendment to bylaw Z10 is accepted in third and last reading. Let's proceed with Z10 once again. 2017 11, amending the City of Dieppe zoning bylaw, reading in its entirety. 11.2. What made the change? I think there was a mistake in the reading. They said 10 and it was a 9. So once again, this one is number 10. Mike. reading in its entirety. Mr. Arsenault? Thank you, Worship. Bylaw Z10 2017-10, a bylaw to amend City of Dieppe zoning bylaw. The Council of the City of Dieppe, under the authority vested in the Community Planning Act, SNB 2017 C15, enacts as follows: that the City of Dieppe zoning bylaw, being bylaw number Z-10 2017, enacted on the 11th day of September 2017 and filed in the Westmoreland County Registry Office as number 37538-783 on November the 3rd, 2017, is hereby amended as follows. 1. Schedule A, entitled City of Dieppe zoning bylaw, wherever it is mentioned in the text of the zoning bylaw is amended. Here to attach a Schedule A-9. I so move, Your Worship. Reading in its entirety. Thank you. Move by Ms. Arsenault, seconded by Councillor Leblanc. On the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried as presented. Now we'll proceed with the third reading. We just did. Third reading. Third reading by title, bylaw number Z-10 2017-10, the bylaw to amend the City of Dieppe zoning bylaw. I move, Your Worship. Moved by Ms. Arsenault, seconded by Monsieur Leblanc. Question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried as presented. Third and final reading. 11.3. Once again, bylaw Z10 2017-11. Reading in its entirety. Monsieur Brideau, please. Thank you, Your Worship. Bylaw number Z-10 bracket 2017-11 bylaw to amend the City of Dieppe zoning bylaw. The Council of the City of Dieppe, under the authority vested in it, the Community Planning Act, the municipal enacts as follows: the City of Dieppe zoning bylaw, being bylaw number Z-10 2017, enacted on 11th day of December 2017, filed in the Westmoreland County Registry Office at 3753-8783 on November the 3rd, 2017, is amended as follows. Schedule A, entitled City of Dieppe zoning bylaw, whatever mentioned in the text of zoning bylaw is amended by the map here to attach a Schedule A-10. I so move, Your Worship. In its reading in its entirety. Reading in its entirety. Moved by Councillor Brideau, seconded by Councillor Cormier. On the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried. Now we can proceed with third reading by title only, Mr. Brideau. You wish a bylaw number Z-10 bracket 2017-11. Bylaw to amend the City of Dieppe zoning bylaw. I move, Your Worship, a third reading by title only. Moved by Councillor Brideau, seconded by Councillor Cormier. On the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried as presented. This brings us to bylaw A15. Bylaw respecting the handout distribution of the City of Dieppe, which has been waited for a long time. Let's make the summer reading. Monsieur Thibodeau, I know you are good at this. I'll let you proceed with the reading. In summary, thank you, Your Worship. Bylaw handout pursuant to the distribution of the City of Dieppe, pursuant to the power that Allenby 2017, the Dieppe City Council duly assembled enacts as follow. 1. Title. 2. Definition. 3. Use of notice. 4. Prohibition. Exception. 6. Offenses. 7. Enforcement. Severity. Commencement. I move in summary. Move the adoption summary. Moved by Councilor Window, seconded by Ms. Arsenault on the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded nay. Okay, bylaw A15, a bylaw reflecting the handout distribution is adopted in summary reading, and we will proceed third reading, title only. Thank you, Monsieur Thibodeau. Thank you. Bylaw A-15, the bylaw respecting the free handout distribution of the City of Dieppe. I move adoption in third reading by title only. Moved by Councilor Thibodeau, seconded by Madame Arsenault, and third and final reading. All those in favor, or question? What? All those in favor, say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried as presented. Thank you. Now, bylaw C30, bylaw authorizing the City of Dieppe to permanently close a portion of Gova Street for reading in its entirety. Mr. Cormier. Thank you, Your Worship. Bylaw C-30, bylaw authorizing the City of Dieppe to permanently close a portion of Gova Road, be it enacted by the municipal city of Dieppe, whereas section 10 bracket 1 P bracket 2 of the local governance chapter 18 of the statute of New-Brunswick authorizes the city council to take bylaws respecting the temporary and permanent opening and closing of road, streets, and whereas the closing of portion of Gauvin as Schedule A, here to attach aims to foster the economic well-being of the collectivity. Now, therefore, be it resolved that from the date of adoption and passing of the bylaw, the portion of the public street here to mention and specified in Schedule A be permanently closed. I so move in its reading in its entirety. Thank you, Mr. Cormier. Seconded by Monsieur Leblanc on the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded say nay. Resolution is adopted as presented for bylaw C-30. As you all remember, it's a small portion of the street. For third reading by title only, Monsieur Cormier, once again. Bylaw number C-30, bylaw authorizing the City of Dieppe to permanently close a portion of Gauvin Road. I so move in its third reading by title only. Moved by Councilor Cormier, seconded by Councilor Leblanc on the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried as presented for bylaw C-30 in the third and final reading. And for C-31, authorizing once again the city to permanently close portion of Marché Street. It applies to the same file, if you remember correctly, for the reading in its entirety, please. Mr. LeBlanc. Thank you, Your Worship. Bylaw number C-31, bylaw authorizing the City of Dieppe to permanently close portion of Marché Street be enacted that the municipal council of the City of Dieppe, whereas section 10 bracket 1 P2 of the Local Governance Act chapter 18 of the statute of New-Brunswick authorizes to take bylaws for municipal purposes rejecting the temporary or permanent use of roads or highways, and whereas the closing a portion of Marché Street identified in Schedule A here to attach aims to foster the economic well-being. Be it resolved that from the date of ordering and passing of the bylaw, that the portion of public street herein mentioned and specified in Schedule A be permanently closed. I move by reading in its entirety. Moved by Councilor Leblanc. In the reading, we approve in its entirety. Seconded by Mr. Brido. On the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary reminded nay. So bylaw C31 is adopted in its entirety. Let's proceed with third reading by title only. Thank you, Your Worship. Bylaw Z31, a bylaw authorizing the city of Dieppe to permanently close portion of Marché Street. I move in third reading by title only. Moved by Councilor Leblanc, seconded by Councilor Brido, that we approve bylaw C-31, third and final reading. Any question? All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. So C31 is adopted in third and final reading. Do we have any notice of motion? No notice of motion. Inquiries and announcement by municipal councilors. I don't know where we're at, but Mr. Gadet, let's start with you. I don't have much during the summer. Very little happens, but maybe to congratulate and wish a good French holiday tomorrow. I'm sure that in our community there are French people, and they will certainly celebrate. I wish them a beautiful day tomorrow. That's all I have. Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, Mr. Gadet. Mr. Cormier. Thank you, Your Worship. Nothing to add. Thank you. Monsieur Brideau. I want to wish a good summer to all our citizens of Dieppe. Let's not give up. We're in the middle of COVID. Let's wear a mask, our plastic gloves, and let's take care of ourselves. Good summer. Mr. Leblanc. Monsieur Leblanc. Mr. Thibodeau. First of all, I want to wish all our French friends a happy Bastille Day. And I want to wish a happy New-Brunswick Day to all our citizens. It will be held before the next meeting. And I have a question for Mr. Manager. Last year, we repaired the Charlottesville Road. Yes. Did we receive any complaints for that road? It's awful. What we did last year, the traveling on it is awful. We received comments, Your Worship. We look at the situation. For the time being, I can't add more, but yes, we received comments and we're looking at the street per se at the project. Thank you. Happy that you're taking care of it. Ms. Arsenault. Thank you, Your Worship. I just want to repeat what was said. Let's be careful during the COVID-19. Take care of yourself. Good summer. Thank you. Michelle? I have 5 comments. I received 3 calls in the last few days. I'll start with my first section. I call it the recreational installation. We call about the connection zone several times this summer. It's a lack. It was a success last year. I hope for next year, even during a COVID season, we'll find a long-term season. And to repeat Councillor Le Boutillier last week, talk about a volleyball on the beach somewhere in downtown Dieppe. It's something to think about seriously. And someone called me on that issue. It's a sport of the day. It's an outside sport. It would be good for the summer. Miss our snow raised earlier, something we didn't have recently. It's an accounting on the the components, the municipal components. Maybe we could have a report. Second thing, it has to do with engineering. Because of COVID, there's positive that exists. And Fox Creek, the golf course is overcrowded, and the boulevard is overcrowded. The course has been there 15 years. It's probably one of the nicest jewels that we ever received in our city. But the small bus on the Gulf Street that goes to Dia Boulevard, it was there on the temporary. It's a hump. After 15 years, it's time we do something. This week on the small bus, 3 cars were waiting, 3 or 4 more cars on each side that were waiting to take the bus on the boulevard. So more and more is becoming an issue. Monsieur Blanchard was here, Guy Bouchard was here for 1 year for the Boulevard and Lake View Avenue. Turn left, you can wait for 4 or 5 minutes. My question for today, for that small bus, the bus has existed 15 years. I can't see for an emergency what is the case. It would be time that we do something. Something will happen. On the boulevard, it's not going to be nice. I leave that with you. I hope we'll do something on a long term. The last point, but not the least, is the clothes box that we find in our community. We see in COVID that people have cleaned. You talk to the hardware from the area. Never in the history of the people have cleaned so much. But that clothing, that was the first thing. I don't want to send it to the dump. There's something we can do for that clothing. We have boxes. I received 2 complaints. The first one is on Acadia. These boxes are, I believe, on the property of the city or the province. But either way, I hope that the city will talk to the provincial government to remove those boxes. The boxes are always full, and it becomes a dumping area. Received another complaint this week. A lady called me, I believe it on the other side of Fox Creek Road, where Consaqua, they just finished the Fox Creek Brook. And on the other side, you have the mailbox with 2 boxes. It's even worse. I saw bicycles. I saw baby stuff on the ground. I hope that we can sit with Mr. Simard and develop a bylaw, a municipal bylaw. I think that people want to have a safe place where we can bring clothing. Everybody has a good intention, but we can see that the clothing be sent to Nazareth house. It's time that something be done. We look at our neighboring city; they have the same problem. So maybe we can bring it on municipal property. Work with these people. There were permits. We have to do something. with these clothing. Those are my comments, Your Worship. Thank you. What I have to add to all of this, once again, wish happy birthday to our French friends, and also obviously wish a good New Brunswick Day to every citizen. And I think we'll be back before August the 15th, without a doubt. So we will see you at the next meeting, August the 10th. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your active participation. Good evening.